Okay, good evening everybody and welcome to our September meeting for PSASA. I'd like to welcome our National President, Roger Knowles.
Thank you.
And
Thank you everybody. Nice to be here.
lovely. And then to our Vice President for the Cape Town chapter, and that's Richard Mulvey. Welcome, Richard. And then also to our members and our special guests, especially those of you who are visiting us for the first time. It's really lovely to have you there and it's lovely to see new faces. And I really hope that you have a very interesting and fun, don't forget the fun meeting. Good. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to start with our usual introduction. Please keep your introduction short as we are trying to introduce something interesting as well as an introduction. And this month what we've chosen is promoting a product. And I've asked each of you to bring a product. Who has not got a product yet? Okay. Would you like to, you don't have to have one, it's optional.
Can we describe one?
You can describe one. If it doesn't take too long, remember we only have a minute. So it's short and sweet. And then if you need one, you are welcome to get one from the back of the room, or I can give you one that you can talk around. That would be very interesting. To get something and see how could you modify this if you have to give this as a promotional item. And that's often what our promotional person, Jurgen T, does, is when he runs workshops like this, he will just give you something, and he said that I should try the same thing. So give it to you and see how you can modify this product to suit your business, which might be very interesting. So if you want to try that, you can either choose something off the back table, or I can just give you anything, and that's the fun of it, is to see how you can work around that. Can I start by giving any of you a product, or would you like to? Yes. And if you are here for the first time and would rather, speak about yourself and your business, obviously please keep it like that. So it is your typical 1 minute elevator speech, alright, that you would do as a networking meeting. Is everybody happy with that? Everybody happy with that?
So we're just talking about a product that we would use to promote our business, but something fun and funky we see.
Yes, or otherwise, something that you've received and you found it really to be most valuable. Okay, so I'll get the ball rolling, and then can you start this side because you've got guests that side. Then we'll start with you after mine. So people are coming in. Hi. I'm just checking before we start the meeting. Have you chosen a menu for tonight?
Yes, we have.
Yes. And Harold? Harold,
Yes.
have you chosen something to eat for this evening? Yes, perfect. Thank you and welcome. All right. Great. So, could we start? Lovely. I'm Chantal Jordan, and I have a business called Expressions, and I run inspirational programs based on personal development and communication skills. I was given this USB for a little car, vroom, 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 and I was given this, and I have used it over and over again. I give it to my son, I give it to my boyfriend, I give it to clients, I use it for a presentation, and it's been so much fun. Also, I've had a name for all my cars. So this little car has become PG, and it's from PG. So how's that for an advertisement for PG? Because every time I'm looking for my PG, then I said to you, and PG, where's little PG? And then we looked for little PG, and PG comes. So I've mentioned the name PG so many times, and I just feel that this, as for me, is one of the most valuable gifts that I have been given. Roger's also got one in his briefcase. So, may we start with you?
Thank you, Chantal. My name is Kevin, and I'm cheating a little bit because it is about the product which my company sells to homeowners. And I'm extremely proud because my company won the award for Best in Home Loans in South Africa for the 11th consecutive year. That announcement came out on Monday. And I'm very pleased because we have put the banks into their places, I have to say, for the last 11 years. As sort of said, it's done about it, and FNB can know where they're at. And I was quite happy with that because they've been challenging us in their advertising. We're talking about oranges and like the line corporate colours orange, and they say that oranges aren't everything. I didn't see the popular oranges, CO. And he did appreciate that. Nice, not that I'm the oranges. So 20,000 people surveyed for 11 years in a row, best in home. So that's my product.
Yes. Me next. Hi, I'm Roger Knowles. I am, when I'm not speaking publicly, I'm a divorce lawyer. And that's why I chose to say we have a principle in divorce law in this country called the clean break principle. And as a result, there's so much of the, I'm not talking about the product that I did write because I'll be talking about that directly a little later. But this actually could be quite a fun product as long as it didn't get offensive. Because I deal with people who are always emotionally on the edge. So I've got to be very careful what I say to people. But I think it might just be quite a fun thing. Get a clean break with Roger Knowles, and you hand them all a little bar of soap with the name of my law firm in it. Wouldn't that be quite fun? So that's what I just thought I'd do. I thought it would be a bit fun. I speak about legal type topics, things that relate to law, mediation. This is having fair debtors. I'll talk about that a little later. But that's me.
So let me speak about this one. You can later away for that.
Just an introduction of it.
My name is Mark Smillian, and I work at a printing company that we've got a couple of different we do photo books, book on demand, and getting into self-publishing.
My name is Ernest Bobo. I consider myself a new popular. I have anxiety with speaker, so I don't know whether I'll end up being a speaker or a new popular just but I'm about how to go papers in this cover, and I'm still learning the tricks of the trade from all old men there.
Just be careful.
Thank you.
Hi, you're going to hear me speak a bit later, but in any case, my name is Gavin. I'm a recovering corporate animal who recently stepped out of the corporate world, and I'm flying down the cliff with trying to grow wings on the way down as an entrepreneur. I love the expression infopreneur because that's actually my business. I'm in the business of helping professionals develop themselves. And my vision is to take expertise that I see in the experience, and we call them the old men, but there's such a lot of wealth and experience in people who have recently retired or resigned or whatever, and there's a generation of young people who desperately need that. So my business is all about bringing those two together. So my products are sitting around the table. My products are the people in this room and the people out there that need your wisdom and experience. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marianne Das, and I belong to the Vedanta Cultural Trust, and I normally speak on the philosophy called Vedanta. It actually deals with the individual and how you basically use the equipment of your body, your mind, and your intellect to reach the ultimate state of self-realization. And we found that, as much as communism has improved, had very noble ideals, it wasn't as successful because individual empowerment and development was neglected to a point of fault. So I think in this day and age, we need to empower individuals. When each individual is empowered, then you will get a better society. And if we just give people money and try to alleviate poverty, I don't think that's a real answer, because you will always have poverty. But if you educate people on how to live better lives and empower them, then you will be able to get a better, well-educated society, which can rid itself of poverty and all the ills and diseases of the mind which we deal with.
Okay, my name's Richard Mulvey. I'm an out-of-work actor who has filled his time for the last 20 years by training salespeople. Recently launched a new product called the Power Series, which some of you in this room have also been involved in, and thank you for that. And it's the Power Series has become quite an interesting part of my business and will grow dramatically over the coming year. So that's me.
And my name is Claire Newton, psychologist, speaker, trainer, and coach. And those seemingly diverse areas of work are all dovetailed in the work that I do around UQ, Y-O-U-Q, which are the three things that people need to do to find what I call their inner winner. And the cutest little promotional product that I was ever given was by a businesswoman. It was a tiny spiral-bound notebook, and the front cover was exactly the size of a business card, and the front cover was a little pocket in which she slipped her business card. And I have to confess that I popped her business card out and put mine in, so when I go around daily, I've got this tiny little notepad with my business card in, and I really thought that that was a fabulous idea, something that anybody could do. But the advice, obviously, seal the pocket if you're going to put your business card in. So, yeah, thank you.
Hello, my name is Brett Bolton, and I'm a communication strategist. This is my book. I'll be talking about it a bit later. It's got wonderful secrets for professional speakers, but there are also hidden secrets in here. And if you want to come see me afterwards, professional speakers, I can share those secrets with you.
You tell us the page.
Yes, I will.
Good evening. My name is Harold Robinson. I'm an industrial engineering consultant. I specialize in what I call root cause analysis. Now, what that means is when people do their daily business problem, normally they come to the conclusion that it's human error. Now, it's not false, but it's not very useful. It's like saying, yes, people fall due to gravity. I try and help them understand why things happen and what could have changed so that they don't happen again. If you ask me about promotional products, don't give me one, I'll just use it wrong.
My name is Wendy Science. I have an organization called Force Training. It is CETA accredited. I primarily do first aid, but also do other courses, especially moderator, facilitator. I go to a lot of CETA updates, and each time they give us one of these little memory sticks. It has got the logo on it. And I actually use them. So I've got each course that I do, just the PowerPoints on the little memory stick, and I label it outside and I use it. So I think it's good.
Hello everybody, I'm Glenda from iConverse. My company is a communications training. You need to be able to effectively and efficiently communicate with people so that they understand and hear our message. I do a lot of courses. I do business presentations, which I have a little microphone. I do professional telephone techniques, and I give everybody a used telephone, and I put my logo on. And it is amazing how life has changed, but I think we have to acknowledge that and applaud that. I've got a chappie who has a beading company on the side of the road. And so when I want telephones, I just pick up the phone, dial the bead maker on the side of the road, and say, hi Lord, can you make another 20 phones? I'm sure thing, come up tomorrow. So we've got this kind of good relationship with the phone and the bead maker, and and asked to do telephones or microphones. But I think two of the interesting gifts that I received was this one was from Alexander Forbes. And this is also a USB port. Which, what I found it interesting is because it's flat. With great respect to USB ports, and I'm not knocking here, but most of them are quite cheap. So you end up carrying, if you're a woman, a whole lot of things from your bedroom, your kitchen, your bathroom, your pantry. So this is actually quite nice because it does open up. This is very flat, so you put it back into a little pocket and nobody even knows you've got a USB. But perhaps this is the one that I've used the most. And I have to look at the name. It says City View Shopping Centre. I don't even know which City View Shopping Centre is. However, I carry this in my handbag. And it might be very ridiculous nails, but you've no idea how much a female will be with something like this. And when you're stuck somewhere and you don't have anything to carry, notes, packages, food, whatever it is, this little bag comes out, but then it folds back in and goes back into this little thing and back into my bag. So City View Shopping Centre, wherever the hell you are, thank you very much. That's very good. Game City, that's good.
And just so you know that it really works.
My name is Chris Voisey. I spent many years like Gavin as a corporate animal, broke over that cage about 4 years ago, and have spent the last 4 years being involved in training, mainly in communication skills, presentation skills, and some marketing and branding, which is the area I was involved in my corporate life.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Akira. I work for a local construction company as a health and safety rep there. I'm an aspiring speaker who wants to be a great part of the movement that Maria across the room just mentioned. And I'm glad to be amongst great professionals today because our company is very small. So yeah, thanks for the invitation.
I'm Randolph. I was a teacher for 17 years, but the last 9 years I'm a pastor of a local church. So I'm into spiritual development, but I do largely leadership development training with ecclesiastical ministers throughout Africa predominantly. And so my interest in public speaking has always been, and I hate the division between the spiritual and the secular. And so my presence here is to harness and to tweak my own professional speaking capacity and ability, and to transcend what people perceive to be spiritual, and to embrace a more holistic view of what it takes to be an effective person in the world. Thanks for the invitation.
I've invited Icona because I've been seeing with the two meetings already, and Icona is the vice of Commensa, which is coaching. I'm not going to tell you too much, but I've invited him especially here today, so he'll be giving us a 5-minute introduction into Commensa for those of you who are interested in learning a little bit more and maybe getting the details afterwards. And we can all go and visit Commensa one either morning or evening, because they alternate their meetings. Okay, welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. As one said, my name is Akon Anakati. I used to be a corporate animal myself, so 5 years ago. The last corporate job that I had was with Standard Bank Group. I ran down as international here. And then 5 years ago, 5 years ago, I decided to turn back to Durban. And I started my own business, which is a marketing and communications business. That's what people mentioning around the room. But I prefer to call myself a business leader because I've got the marketing and communication business. I sit on 2 different boards as well, and then I chair a non-profit organization. Before I get into Commensa, the one product that I did want to talk about is actually a business card. And I'll just take out one of my business cards just just for purposes of actually illustrating this. I mean, everyone has one of these. You know, but how effective is a business card really? You know, we go around to many networking functions, we meet different people. What generally tends to happen? Do you keep the business cards within a particular area, or do you deploy them somewhere else, and just really forget about them? How really effective are they? You know, and to me, you know, with my business card, it's got my picture in the back, so that you never really forget the person in space. You know, so I meet you don't forget. But I think more importantly, so is how you hand out the business card. You know, the Chinese are very particular when handing out business cards. They hand out both hands like that, and they tend to look at you in the face. You know, what we tend to find in this day and age is people just handing out a business card, maybe looking talking to someone else, you know, really not effective. So I just think that we should really start looking at how we utilize our business card as a marketing and as a sales tool to make sure that you have longevity in terms of people that you. Yeah. In terms of Commensa, Commensa is Coach and Mentors of South Africa. It's a body that was started roughly about 20 years ago. We've been around for a while. We generally get to meet in KZN in Durban once a month. We alternate. One month will be a morning, the next month will be an evening, just so that we can try and accommodate everyone. To be a member of Commensa, you don't necessarily have to be a coach. You don't necessarily have to be a mentor. You may be someone who's just interested in becoming a coach or a mentor. We try not to discriminate from anyone, so we really are open to those people that are really interested in actually joining or that have an interest in the coaching profession. Yeah. Our meetings generally take place at the Ballet Street Hotel near North Beach, and we generally attract roughly 20 to 25 people per meeting. What happens during those meetings, we have one of the members or even an outside professional come and present to us about an interesting topic. And topics of interest in coaching and mentorship are very broad. It's right across the board. Just to tell you about the next event that we're having, which is next Friday. It's Friday morning at the Ballet Street Hotel. We're having Anne Turner, a fantastic lady from out here in Durban North, who has great experience within HR. She's also a qualified psychometric assessment lady. So she's also a qualified coach. So she's going to talk to us about the use of psychometric testing and how you can benefit and how that can benefit you as a coach or a mentor. But as I said, our topics are very broad. You know, so I would appeal to each and every one of you to come visit us. If you're interested, I'm more than happy to chat to you afterwards. I can drop you a mail regarding next week and the forthcoming events as well. So, and honestly, we don't see Professional Youth Association as opposition at all. I think they're great synergies, and I would really try and look at ways of how we can start integrating and having cross-pollination between the two. There's a lot of people that do a lot of speaking out there, a lot of people that do a lot of facilitation as well. So I really see it as a great opportunity for us to actually work together perhaps, or to make people aware of each other's bodies going forward. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being so willing and we chat to us and so free and open with some information, etc. Good. If we can now ask our national president if he could say a few words about recent meetings.
Right. I was lucky to be able to attend both the Cape Town and the Gauteng meetings last week. It was absolutely good. Both of them were great meetings. Cape Town people are wonderful. It's a lovely place to meet the Gauteng Club. Absolutely superb, and I enjoyed fantastic hospitality from Richard and Charlotte. Both for those who don't know, Richard and his wife were both members of Durban, and something. Keep going. We're both members of the KZN chapter, and I'm now in Cape Town. Charlotte was the president of Cape Town, and it was just really interesting, really good meeting, good speakers. It was great. It was another meeting to spend. I then went to Johannesburg to attend their meeting on the Thursday. That was on Monday night on Cape Town. The purpose of the Johannesburg meeting was a dual purpose meeting. On the one hand, we had a fantastic speaker, Dr. Grant Robinson. He was spectacular. He always is. He's really a good speaker. Then we had a general meeting. The purpose of the general meeting, which had been postponed from our AGM, was to amend the Constitution. And I'm pleased to say that the meeting took, I think it was nearly 3 minutes, much to everybody's surprise. Graham's talk afterwards, when he stood up and said, I want to talk about membership quickly, was longer than the actual meeting took. And the purpose was to simply amend the Constitution, to open membership, as it were, at the bottom, to say, right, people who are interested in speaking do not have to do so many talks per month or per year, or earn so much in terms of money. They may join. People who are interested in having something to do with this business, such as, for example, coaches, etc., or anyone who has to do with the speaking business or has an interest in it, may join as an associate. The other classification is members. It's the Professional Speakers Association, so members are professional speakers. They have to qualify. They do have to jump through hoops and do a certain minimum number of talks and earn a certain minimum income from speaking in order to join. But the good news, folks, is that we still have not raised that bar. It's actually quite shocking. If you think about it, that bar was set 10 years ago. Should have gone up 3 times by now. Should have gone up to a higher level. But it recognizes the fact that for the past 6 years or so, not only our country, but the world's been under pressure. So we decided we don't want to exclude people, we want to include people. We have a wonderful fraternity, if the ladies don't mind me using the word fraternity, in the speaking business, and we've decided to keep it there for the time being. So that's what happened last week. It was great. It was really wonderful to see both groups and to meet people with others. But our meetings are proportionately larger, and our justice work is not better than all the other meetings. But the others are the same thing back, and they meet in good places. The Johannesburg people meet at the Sunnyside Park National. It's great. The Kelvin Road Club is probably nice. You've got the mountain up and sort of looming over you, and the cricket ground next door. Beautiful. The weather, and it's green. Oh, Cape Town is no wonder.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Thank you, Richard, for that. I'm adding 10 minutes. That's my bit on the meetings. If anybody's got any questions about that, I decided not to give any details about you, Richard. Anybody's got any questions?
I mean, the Constitution is now in and whatever, when do we get the written document, so to speak, that we can look at it?
Dolph and I are busy doing that. As you can imagine, with Dolph involved, we have a huge amount of work to do, because there's the PhD man that's got to change everything. I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I haven't got time to do it right now. It may take another week or two. But I'd like to do it before I go. I won't be there next month because I'm going to the PSASA meeting in London. And so I'd like to get it done before I do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And I'd now like to have a little bit of an update of our convention in Cape Town. Thank you, Richard.
I've been allowed 5 minutes, so I shall keep down to 4 minutes 50 seconds. A couple of things. Business cards are brilliant. I love the idea you pay on the business cards to keep them. The best business card I've ever seen, I picked up in America and New York, the NSA there. It was a circular piece of plastic. Around the outside was the name and address and all the details. In the centre, the guy had stuck a coin. I don't know, 50 cents or whatever it was, coin right in the centre. I've still got it in my top drawer because who's going to throw away a coin on a business card like that? And I was just thinking we should have our own circular piece of plastic with one round coin on it. Nobody would throw that away, would they? And they're going to keep that and throw the other away, which I thought was really good. Okay, very quickly, and I apologise to Claire, who's your representative in Durban for the convention, because I haven't brought Claire up to date, so I apologise, Claire. The convention organisation is going very well. Just so that you know what's happening, we're going to the Breakwater Hotel, which was part of the Breakwater Prison, originally built even before Roger was born, so it's very old indeed. And it was built, the Victorians built it for British prisoners. So it was a prison. It's now part of the university there. but we're taking part of the prison to have our breakout convention on April the 17th, 18th, and 19th the next year. Please do not miss this. It's going to be the best convention we ever had. The speakers are lined up already who have agreed to be there are Lenora Billings-Harris. She is she's an American lady. She's very high up in the association in America and the Global Speakers Federation. In fact, she's president of the Global Speakers Federation this year, world president of speakers. She's going to be there speaking on Ubuntu, which is her main theme, and even though she's American, it's a South African theme that she takes around the world. We've got Gavin Keller, who is a fantastic, world-renowned educationist. Is that right? Can I say that word? Is that close enough? He talks, in fact, he's a teacher or headmaster of a school in Cape Town, but he speaks 200 times a year to audiences all over the world about the way in which primary school education should be taken up. And he came and spoke to us a few months ago in Cape Town at our chapter meeting. He is brilliant, an absolute first-class speaker and headmaster, but he has a lot to say about the way in which we remember things, the way in which we learn, and of course that's what our job is, to convince people to get them to learn from us. So we're going to be learning from him. We have Justin Cohen, who's speaking at the event. Justin is one of the world's great speakers. He's South African, and he's got one or two great keynotes. His new book is called, somebody help me? Oh, I can't remember the name, but he flew to Los Angeles to meet somebody to make a film of his new book. So he's really doing very well indeed. He's speaking. We have Craig Goldblatt from London, who's got some wonderful stuff. And I'm running out. Oh yes, Bob Ideaman-Huey, thank you very much, from America. Fabulous guy. We had him on Skype in Cape Town, in fact last week when you were there. Very, very clever guy. Oh yes, the silent speaker, Stephen Burnett. He's going to speak to us. Do you remember Stephen? He said that 6-7 years ago. Absolutely world-class stuff. And so it's going to be a fantastic event. And those are all the people who have agreed to speak. There's 7 or 8 others who we're still talking. I can't share their names with you until they actually agree to be here. We're doing the 3-day event at Breakwater. We're then going to, for the gala dinner, to one of the best venues in Cape Town, which is the Table Bay Hotel. You know Cape Town waterfront, the Table Bay is right at the corner there. Magnificent place for a gala dinner. The Breakwater is a wonderful place for the convention, but we're all going to walk down to the centre of the waterfront there for the gala dinner. It's going to be absolutely magnificent. You must not miss this. We're trying to do a whole lot of new stuff. Some of you have already got your key. When you sign up and you pay, you get a big iron key. I'll tell you all about those iron keys when you get there. But some of you will come with iron keys, some of you won't. We're going to be drawing prizes. So the first people to book and pay get how many keys? You've got a key. Who else has got keys? You've got a key. Okay, so if you book and pay for this now, you end up with a big iron key. And when you bring it, that will be one of those things you'll get prizes for. We've also designed and developed, and I use the word we in the sort of Victorian royal sense, an app which is going to support the whole thing. And this is the first time I'm actually sharing that app with any group of people. It's not finished yet because an app, like any other app, is a work in progress, and it will continue to be updated. But on this app, you've got the speakers, you've got videos of the speakers, you've got what the speakers do. There's a news feed, there's a Twitter feed, there's already opportunities for you to rate the speakers, and those people who come to the convention are going to be downloading that app and using it as we go through to watch other people's Twitter feeds, to rate the speakers. Every single speaker, you'll have the opportunity to rate them from world class to right at the bottom. It says don't give up your day job. So you have that opportunity to rate every speaker. And that puts the speakers on the spot. I had that when I was in Iran a few years ago. We had exactly the same thing. All the speakers were rated, and then after every speaker, it came up on the screen behind you. what the audience, 700 people in the audience, thought of your presentation. Now that puts you on a spot. But why not? We're rating ourselves. We are professionals. No reason why not. If you want to download the test, and if you don't, why not? There is the address, www.yak.us.breakout. It's our own personal app for the convention. Download it onto your cell phone or your iPad or onto your computer. Keep an eye on what we're doing. Every time we put new speakers, they're going to go on the app. Every time that the whole program is on the app, but there will be change. All the changes will you'll automatically download it and you'll get to find out what it is. Download the app. Please bear in mind it's a work in progress. Not quite finished yet, but download the app and have a lot of fun. That's it, folks. That's my 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Richard. We already have speakers coming to speak about LinkedIn, about our websites, about our social media, specifically Facebook, etc. Now it looks like we need everyone to assist us to create an app. So if anybody knows of something like that, then please
That's me.
let us know. We'll have to come and speak to us, Richard. We'll have to come to Boston.
You're very welcome.
Lovely. Please introduce.
We now then have a picture-picture presentation. We have one at each meeting. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's a means of doing PowerPoint where you have 20 slides and you have 20 seconds per slide. This evening our presenter is Kevin Warden, and he is, I think he said, is the CEO of PSASA. His presentation this evening is Observations of Office Staff. Please help me welcome Kevin.
This thing's got 20 seconds per slide. You can see Chantal really wants to.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right, go.
2, 1.
So I'm talking on observations of office life. I show how office life has changed, but also how things have remained the same. I look at the environment when I started working 40 years ago. Innovations that I thought were new but turned out not to be new at all. What are genuinely new things? Things that are eternal, and finally things that will never come back. I hope a little bit of fun. When I started working, we smoked cigarettes at our desks. Some people even smoked pipes and cigars. It was smart wear only. Business suits and ties for men and dresses or skirts for women. Stockings were obligatory. Claire Newton would not have been able to showcase her hats. Jeans, I've got to be joking. And long hair was after all. We had haircut inspection. There was no air conditioning, and no complaining was tolerated. We produced lots of paper. In fact, the more you produced, the harder you were working, so you got a salary increase. Arithmetic had to be done manually using pencil and paper. Only senior managers had adding machines. If calculating was your job, you were given a facet machine. Or you were given logarithm tables. Imagine using these things. I had to. Our inbox and outboxes were actually made of wood. Yep, no Microsoft Office, and they had paper in there. We had to clean our desks at the end of every day. There were no cleaning services around. And all files had to be locked away in steel cabinets, including the wooden inbox and outboxes. You called your boss sir. There was never a ma'am, because there were no women managers. And your boss could fire you at will, without notice, without just cause, without appeal, and no severance terms. No mediation work for Roger Knowles in those days. It was one-way ticket. But we were thankful for our jobs. We had to say so, otherwise, the axe. Working from a coffee shop is not new at all. Starbucks is not a new concept. London's first coffee shop opened in 1652. It was an instant success. By 1700, there were 3,000 coffee shops in London. The main point was to meet people. They called it social networking. Now, where have we heard that expression recently? Twitter isn't actually new. Twitter didn't invent Reddit, it was Samuel Morse in 1844. It was called Morse code, and this was his first tweet. It reads, "What hath God wrought?" I think that's more profound than the abbreviations of today. That's what's that. Fred Felton would have written a book called 101 Tips for Morse Code. It would have been a bestseller. Emails making you crazy is not a problem. It's not a new problem. This is precisely the same as 100 years ago, but back then it was a telephone. A 1913 article said people were stressed out, even hysterical, at having to be always available on the phone. Staff couldn't handle the pressure. They had to be sent for therapy, and they even needed medication. Staying in constant contact with the office is not new. An ad in 1914 advised while away, the phone would allow you to stay in touch with your office. So they were constantly interrupted. People stopped enjoying their holidays. And now it's your iPad and smartphone that stops you from enjoying the holidays, or your evenings, or your weekends, or your private time. Managers are very new. Until the 20th century, there were no managers, only owners. The word only came into existence 100 years ago. Without managers, there were no meetings, no performance appraisals, no management speak to leverage the infrastructure or deliver solutions. Also, no need for trainers or life coaches. The PSA would have been a small society back then. Liking your job is a newfangled idea. The notion that people should enjoy their work was unheard of. You were expected to be miserable, otherwise you'd never have work. Chairs were high and uncomfortable, guaranteed to give you backache. Offices were cold and damp. Tuberculosis was a common ailment. There was no medical aid to assist you, no touchy-feely things at all, and no counselors, of course. Women in the workplace, that's very new. It was a 20th century innovation, an experiment. Women were cheap. They had separate entrances and staircases. Apartheid. Locked in cages to prevent moral indiscretions. Allowed them to the roof at lunch to march and sing the company song. The first was that they could knit or darn socks. Casual clothes are new. Not allowed, as little as 30 short years ago. In 1984, the Apple computer team shocked the world because they wore casual clothes and grey hoodies under certain suits. By the 1970s, the virtue of smart dress was scientifically proven. There were books like Dress for Success, a must for all up-and-coming businessmen. The beauty premium still applies in many organizations. Perfectly, of course. But 100 years back, the beauty bias was more explicit. At RBS in Scotland, clerks would be removed for having a voice a little peculiar, due to diminutive stature, having jug ears, even red hair. I hope they won't do this again. Scotland achieves independence. Petty policies will never disappear. Today, some of the most unpopular things are actually minor perks like free biscuits, having coffee, etc. And motivational slogans aren't original either. They've been around for 400 years and more. This sign comes from an insurance office in 1634. PSA motivational speakers might have been in demand in those days. Paper will be up forever. In 1975, the Institute predicted paperless offices by 2000. But for the next 25 years, the volume of paper increased exponentially. They got it wrong despite all the new paperless systems. And in the 40 years since 2000, it has quadrupled. Here's my prediction. The paperless office will arrive no sooner than the paperless toilet. Ledgers will never come back. In the old days, every event was recorded in a huge ledger. The ledger could be 1,000 pages thick, sometimes even bigger. You needed a team to carry these prized possessions. That's how you trace the company history and every big deal or small deal. Ledgers were proudly displayed in reception halls for customers and service providers to page through and marvel at. Equipment we won't see again: quill pens, blotting paper, typewriters, word processors, adding machines, telling machines, luggable desktop computers. Remember those things from the early 1980s? And now, what about mainframe computers, fax machines? All these things around us will be on the scrapping very soon as well. Very loud noise is generally gone. No clanking adding machines, no chattering telex machines, no bashing of typewriter keys, no jangling phones, no shouting voices. Now there is white sound and just the gentle tapping on the keyboard. And tobacco, well, we all know, that's banished to the outside pavement, never to return to the inside. And finally, privacy is also gone. In the old days, managers had walled offices. Then the walls became opaque glass, then it became transparent glass. Then the glass became low screens, then the screens became pot glass. And now it's nothing. Onward march of open plans to totally remove privacy. Has life really improved since 40 years back? I, for one, learned from the good old days.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kevin. Well done.
obligation to the viticulture people. And I'm saying that because I've shipped them. Viticulture wrote to us and said, you can't use that name. You cannot use the process. You cannot use the slides. It's copyrighted. But you can buy a license from us, and if it's not a for-profit organization, it'll only cost you 2,000 rand. So I wrote back to the guy, I said, you have to be completely crazy. You're missing out on an incredible opportunity to have us spread the word for you. We want to use it for free. Certainly you can use it for free. Fill in the attached form, confirm the following and writing, I forget what it was, and please announce at every meeting what I've just announced, that it's copyrighted, that you may not use it.
Now we
for tonight.
And we'll be
I know Richard's going to relate with me. 20 years ago training and videoing with a big TV with the old VHS videos in, and big tripods and a huge camera this size, and your manuals, etc. And you have to lug all this around. And today I can literally do it with my cell phone and a little stand on the table. So, yes.
I'm going to introduce Fred Carlton. And his book, 101 Tips for Twitter, we're doing 101 Tips for more stuff. I'm not sure which one. 101 Tips for Twitter. Fred is a communication strategist, a keynote speaker, and an author. The very reason, of course, why we are calling up to the podium this evening. He works at Falcon Go, a digital media agency. They provide talks and workshops on social media, all sorts of things which I think I know not enough about. Fred himself is a social media consultant and helps brands understand the world of social media. And as we all know, and Fred told us, he is based here in Durban, so if we need to consult him, it's just a hop and a skip away. Some of the companies he's worked with include the Durban Chamber of Commerce, Twitter, Blanket Drive, and Native. Fred is the ideal speaker tonight for us at PSA, and in fact, is the ideal speaker for anybody that desires to write a book. He has loads of experience in how to put a book together from start to finish. In particular, he can share with us his knowledge of what to do after the book has been published, in terms of marketing, in terms of sales, both in the real world and, of course, in the online world. Specifically on his book, 101 Tips for Twitter, it's imperative for us as speakers to learn about Twitter and social media in general, and how to use them in our daily lives. Fred will confirm, I'm sure, that Twitter should be a powerful tool in the marketing of our businesses. Twitter and social media are here to stay, so we either have to get onto the bandwagon, or we will get left behind. Fred's guidebook will show us all the ins and outs of what to do on Twitter. Also has valuable advice to help us interact with big community leaders, chat groups, etc. I would generally be holding up the book for everyone to see, but Fred sent it to me electronically. How else? Over to you, Fred.
It's small, it's a lot of work to make something like this. I'll show you too, talking about the board in a book, and you do a board in a book, slides in a book. Everything from the cover to the back, and a whole bunch of work. We look at the cover, for example, and Tony Robbins' motivational speaker at the moment. He's busy giving out a book for free. And all he asks is for you to look at 4 covers and to tell him which one you like the best. So is it him in a black suit, in a green suit, in a white suit, with the font different on the top or on the bottom, which one do you look? So if you're going to start first, think about the cover, think about what it's going to look like. You'll find brand names, people like Stephen King and that, their name is much more prominent than the book title. So you might want to think, do you want to put your name big, or do you want the book title small? Okay, so give you a bit of tips about bookshops and places like that. They do not like books like this, it's too small, they're lost. So if you're going to write a book, well, make it a good paperback size, if you want it to be. If you're thinking of self-publishing, I would certainly recommend you to start on the Sutton's book page, which is basically self-publishing. It shows you from start right to finish of the book. So A, by the way, stands for author and publisher on Blockchain. which you have to become an entrepreneur to sell the book. It's okay to get the book out, but to try to get those sales, you have to become almost like a guru of marketing, just to get the book out there. If you ever look at a guy like Gary Vee, he runs an online wine company, but he also writes books. He's got a very good website for his one book. He actually set up a website just for his book, which is a good way of thinking about it. And in your website, a good thing to look at is something like bulk orders. So you have a little section for bulk orders. Most people don't think about that, they don't think about approaching companies and saying, hey, would you like to buy 100 copies, would you like to buy 1,000 copies? Not sure. That's the latest thing at the moment. You've got a book, and what that is you send it to a bunch of bloggers around the world, and you say, hey, would you buy this free book, and in return we'll ask you to just write a review about it. So basically you get worldwide press exposure for your book. A lot of people forget as well is you need something like a press pack for your book. Okay, so you want to have like a press release, you want to have a list, like an Excel file of various people that would be interested in your book. So TV journalists, radio journalists, people in print and media, bloggers, anybody who'd be interested in writing about books or reviewing books. So you have to work out a budget. Of course, in these days, e-books is okay, but you have to work out how many books you want to send to various people. So there's no point, like, for example, my book, which is social media, I'm going to send it to a guy who's a political reporter. Okay, you wouldn't really be interested in books. Not very much. But if you're going to send it to a social media reporter, something like that, somebody with technology, they'd be interested in that book. It's a process. I would advise you to run a license with you as well, because what they have to do is motivate you to get that book done. And think about what you want to write about, when you actually start. The book then becomes part of your speaking business as a speaker, and you put it back to the category of business, so you can actually put your books out there and say, okay, if you'd like to buy my book, next thing you're done. But if you don't have the book, you can't get the sale. It's the same for your website. You could have it on your website for sale. So you want to look at sites like Amazon, KZN, you look at sites like Selfie, and you want to sell your book on your site. But of course, what happens is you're not going to market your book yourself. It's a lot of time and effort to go to the site. How much time and effort you want to spend every day. Every day, you just don't want to every day to market your book. You send it around the world to certain people. Are you going to have the audio? But people come up to me for other books I've done and say, why don't you have audio book? And I say, well, why would I want an audio book? And I say, well, when I'm on the class, I'm driving my car, I like to listen to something. Those things come and stuff. When I have a look at a guy like Tony Scuba, who's another audio book, which is selling using TV baby, which is another line and marketing. Are you going to have a website for your book? Are you going to have a website just for yourself and have your books on it? And maybe to look at someone like Lauren Lucas, she's a very famous writer in South Africa, and just see how she uses social media to market her book as well. And this book, I would say, why would you want this? I wrote this book for a reason, because at that time there was no book like this in South Africa with social media. So I asked a bunch of people around South Africa for their advice, and then I took that, plus I used my own social media experience, plus I asked a guy from America, the name by the name of Ted Newton. I said, could you just maybe just send me a little clip so I'd like to put it in the book? He sent me quite a big list of stuff, so I said, could I use this as an introduction? And we said, yeah, sure. So something to think about is maybe interact with people who are pretty big in the business, people whose name would be seen. So, for example, we go back, we have someone like Charlotte Kemp, like and she put, Twitter can be as overwhelming as a large cocktail party with a dozen conversations going on at the same time. Brett Falcon's techniques and advice will help you navigate that party and both enjoy it and get the most out of the network. And then her name is there. So people might not know who I am, but they might turn the book over and might see Charlotte Kemp and say, wow, okay, Charlotte Kemp said, okay, this book must be good. So another thing you might not notice about this book, I'm probably the first book to do this, but my book says 101 tips by Brett Falcon. Because I didn't use my name specifically because it's a book about social media. So if you wanted to use your Twitter name, if you're using something like social media, it's a very clever way to get people to know you. The other thing is with social media, if you're an author, don't keep going out there just start a book all the time, because people assume much very good. But if you help people out, just occasionally tell people where you do, maybe do a book tour, or maybe keep doing a book signing. But don't keep, putting it out all the time. Just try and sell it.
Thank you very much, Fred. As he said, if you need to consult with him on anything on social media, not necessarily Twitter, well, he sits right here amongst us, so have a chat to during the day. So this evening's a little different. We've got 2 book reviews. And the next book that we're going to look at is written by Roger, and it's called Zero Debtors. And Roger obviously needs no introduction. I'm tempted to say he's been around longer than any of us, but I don't mean it in the derogatory sense that Richard mentioned it, nor he's been around old people. And Richard said, Breakaway's just a little bit older than Roger. I've only been around the PSA right from inception. He was a founder member, so he's been around longer than us. We're very proud, of course, to have Roger as president of the PSA South Africa, and we're privileged that we've got such easy access to him because he always attends all of our Durban chapters. And of course, he lives in Durban. He will shortly be attending the annual conference, as he told us, of the PSA in the UK. And in fact, we have to book him straight away to come and tell us immediately afterwards, so that we can hear firsthand of his experiences. Roger is best known, as he told us earlier, as an attorney, but also a mediator. In fact, in my view, he's turning mediation in South Africa into a substantial, respected, and professional business. He's showing how mediation can be the best remedy to the most acrimonious of cases. Obviously, Roger is also a professional speaker. He's spoken around the world at conferences, workshops, and seminars. At print, he's been on television, he's been on radio. Too many times in fact to count. Aside from numerous articles published both locally and internationally, Roger has also written a number of books. The one he's going to talk to us about tonight, Zero Debtors, is to seek and then present and then answer the age-old question, how can we get payment from our customers on time, every time, and without alienating? When I went through Roger's book, which I've read, he seems to think, or seems to be presenting it as something maybe for small businesses. On the contrary, I've found a lot of tips for my business, not just in terms of who I want to get, but also some of our credit processes. So it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Roger and I can talk about the book.
Sometimes one of the most meaningful things we can do, either as a speaker, trainer, coach, or author, is to identify a big problem that you personally have. Find the solution and share it. That's what I've done here. The problem was that for many years, I didn't seem to be making any money. And I struggled on and battled on through my law practice, and I was called in to see my bank manager. He said to me, Roger, we've talked about your overdraft. Now, that made my blood cold. This was about 15 minutes ago. And he said to me, the overdraft is just completely out of control. I said, how much is it? That's how much And I just like what before. He said it's 168,000. That was my personal lifestyle 15 years ago. When 168,000 was quite a lot of money. I'd like 168,000 now on your personal lifestyle. And he said, we can't keep letting it go, you've got to pay it back. And I'm not offering stuff for something like that, but I didn't own anything worth 168,000. There was no way on this earth I could pay back 168,000. And he said, start by telling me how this happened. I said, well, people don't pay me. He said, what do you do for a living? I said, you know what I do for a living? I help people with their problems. He said, there's your problems. You think you're on this earth to help people. You're a businessman, you're a highly qualified professional. What are you doing paying them to solve their problems? And secondly, lending my money to people who haven't filled in a credit application form with my bank. I thought that was such a damn good point he made, but I wish he'd been making it to somebody else. Because he actually was serious about pay back 168,000 rand. So, I came to the question. I had to sit down very carefully. This is what am I doing at this age? Worth nothing in terms of my personal worth. Financially, nothing. And I owe the bank 168,000 rand. What am I going to do? I had to ask the question, first of all, how do some people seem to be able to recover their money? No difficulty at all. From every one of their customers, every time, on time. And still keep their business running. Still keep their customers. How do they do that? Because I needed to learn how to do that. Before I had to learn how to run a business in the other respects. For anybody who's wondering, I've changed tremendously. I have a fairly decent network in that time, but it took me a long time to answer that question. But what I did to answer the question, and what I'm going to share with anybody who reads the book, is every time I bumped into somebody, I would say, tell me about your business, how does it operate? How do you get your money? And generally speaking, people would say, okay, I don't know, people just don't pay us. And I would make notes every time I came across somebody who had something that they could add. Richard will have to, that's my age. I'm not what I want. You did it. Are you awake? And I would make notes. And I wanted to know what that one principle was, because it occurred to me when I looked at a range of people.
You've got 2 minutes, Roger.
Okay, per chapter. For a range of people, a number of people in this room, there's probably only one or two who are actually really good with money. There may not even be one or two people. Yeah, who are really good with money. There may be more. But it's not like that. It's a small number who actually are really good at this. I would ask around, and I began to get a sense of what it was that made people good at this. But I couldn't put a number or name to it. I couldn't do it. And then one day I was at a coffee connection type of meeting, a networking thing, in Pinetown. And I went up to a chap and introduced myself, shook his hand and said, what do you do? He said, no, I run that little lawnmower company, eh? Mickey Mouse. I thought, I could picture the little lawnmower corner of the game. And then he spoke a little bit more. And he said, yeah, my dad started this company. And that was 45 years ago, and suddenly it's moved down. Because to run any business for more than 5 years, let alone for 45 years, and make a success of it, you've got to go. So I got chatting to him, and I said, how about the dentist? He said, what? I said, do your customers pay you? And he looked at me and said, and he said, oh yes, he said, I'm serious about that. It's one of the slides I put up when I did one of these talks. And I did talks of various durations in type of zero, which is how they get paid on time every time without using the customer. One of the things I put up is the PSASA principle. And yesterday I gave this talk at the SPA Academy, the SPA head office in Pinetown, the office for Southern Africa. I've given this same talk, this 1 hour talk, 10 times at that academy, let alone how I'm thankful for SPA. And one of the slides I put up is the same thing. But at the end of the talk I say, I want you guys to go away with your next feeling. One is same, serious about money. Everything you have to do with your customer, you must be serious about money. Money must be central. It doesn't mean money is the most important thing in the world. Like one of the other images that I put up is, if you need a product, You need customers, you need cash flow. And a quantity cannot exist if any one of those leads is either missing or simply not long enough. You'll get a one-button account. They carry that energy in them. I've had people come up to me years later that you the problem. So that's the one thing. Excuse me. The other one I've skipped my mind. I won't bother you with it.
Read the book.
And I gave the talk yesterday. I can't believe it. Bridget, when you reach my age, you'll understand this. Chris has already got it. I've given various things that they must remember. That's one thing, is the profit for you. The most important thing. The other thing that I say to them, people in that was the builder people, Spark, is that one of the most useful things they have to collect money is the company. Because you need to remember that much as it's nice to have a good relationship with your customer, it's also a formal one. I said to them, when you're doing business with people, the counter is the distance between you. That has got to be. It's got to be there. It emphasizes the professionalism. It emphasizes the fact that this is a professional relationship. Now, if you were trying to make a totally different kind of relationship, the people who deal with relationships, like psychologists and so on, say, oh no, you don't need barriers. This type of relationship, you need a barrier. You need something that you reach across. I said to them, for example, I've known people, including owners of building stores, who've gone bust doing business with their buddies. The one guy went bust, he lost about 10 or 11 million rand doing business with three guys he was at school with. He said, my China, I'm going to give you all my business, man. I'm building a new house for $5 million and I'm going to buy every brick from you. But they never paid me for those bricks. I remind them, one of the many points I make is don't dance with your customers on the other side of the table. Have a pint with the guy at the club, that's then you don't talk business. Talk business when you've got your desk and or your accountant. There's plenty more in there. I can't go through it. It's full of stories, full of stories. I'm going to tell you one. I deal with the myths of money recovery. One of those myths is having debtors is a normal part of doing business. If you talk to almost any business person, you say, I'm a debtors. No, they're quite good, eh? No, it's okay. They can go about 75 days. It's not good. It's not possible. My title is zero debtors. Now, unfortunately, the accountants have done us a great disservice. They've used the word debtor to describe anybody who owes us money. It's completely misleading. My definition of a debtor is a customer who's in default. 1 minute in default, he ceases to be a customer and is your debtor, and your approach must change. You can't keep saying, hi, nice to see you. Do you want to drop yourself? That's the way I used to deal with people. They'd always say, yeah, you're on top of my list, you're always happy, and you never see a rand. You don't. It's got to be serious. You've got to have it sorted in such a way that they wouldn't think of not paying you. And I worked out how to do that, and I have to say in the last couple of years I've got them all. My creditors on my debtors are back up to 400,000 or 500,000 rand. I'll get it. I'll get most of it. I won't get all of it. If you allow that to happen, you're asking for big trouble. A couple of years ago, I wasn't owed a rand. I got paid on the button. I learned, people think divorce lawyers and lawyers generally take money. It doesn't quite work out that way. But I learned that when a new customer, a new client came to see me, I'd look at it, I'd take a quick estimate. I know I've divorced about 1,000 people. I know approximately how long it's going to take me in a particular case. You can judge very quickly. And what I learned how to do is to say, I'm guessing your case is going to take about 4 to 6 months to settle. I want 30,000 rand by 3 o'clock this afternoon, please, and I want you to find another 50 and have it on there. Do you know that when you ask that directly, if instead you do like so many lawyers and say, I need a 3,000 rand deposit, that's to get the 3,000 rand deposit. And that applies equally to my practice and to your practice, Ernest as an engineer, and Harold's also an engineer, and to every other business in the room. If you don't ask for it, if you don't anticipate, if you don't expect it, you won't get it. You'll be exactly right. If you think you're going to have a hard time getting paid, you'll be exactly right. Just as one story. having debt is a normal part of doing business. I was in Cape Town running one of my courses. I've run courses all over the country, zero debtors and get your money and so on. I just got so tired of it. I stopped. I decided I don't want to do this anymore. But I was very pleased to deliver it again yesterday. And they bought 50 books, which managed that up there. But the one story I had, I walked into a shopping centre in East London. And as I walked in, there's a pharmacy there. I don't know if any of you from East London. The name of the pharmacy is the Ivor Jones, IVOR, Jones Pharmacy. I thought, I need to stop in and talk to this man. I walked in because the following week I was going to talk to 90 pharmacists about here at Edinburgh. I was going to present it to them. So I wanted to familiarise myself with the business. I've spoken to a couple of pharmacists in Durban, but I thought I'd take the opportunity to talk to him. I went up, and there's an old man, albeit like Richard, much younger, of course. I mean, much older, sorry. And he's counting pills in one of those clever little things that they use to count the pills that cost him 4 into the bottle. That's brilliant. I'm sure an engineer will agree with that. That's really a neat little trick for filling bottles. And he's doing this. I said, "Good morning, sir." And he said, "Just a moment, son." And he said, "I'll be with you in a moment." And he finished counting his pills and stuck his label on the top of the bottle. And he said, "How can I help you?" I explained, told him what I was doing and why I'd like to speak with him. And he said, "Yes, certainly, I'll talk to you." So I said, "Do you have a problem collecting money?" Knowing full well that pharmacists had an absolute nightmare. He said, "No, not at all." I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "We aren't owed one name like anybody." I said, "But how's that possible? Pharmacists have a huge cash flow problem. They've got medical aid, and they've got people with little accounts, big accounts, regular accounts, and not so regular accounts, and they always have a huge cash flow problem." He said, "No." I said, "Excuse me." He said, "Funny you should ask. I'm actually not the owner of this business." I said, "But have you not? I just thought you must be Ivor Jones." He said, "I am. But I retired 3 years ago, and I gave the business to my son." And he said, "The first thing he did," he said, "Dad, next month when I take over, I'm cancelling all the accounts." I said, "That must have been cool." The thought that he was going to tell all my business accounts, "Forget it, no more credit." He said, "I couldn't sleep." He said, "Then I realized," and he's a much cleverer man than me, he said, "If I'm going to let my son take over this business, I'm going to make his own mistake." He said, "I stepped back and I waited for the connect." I said, "What happened?" He said, "In the first 2 months, we lost 15% of income." Wow. I said, "And then?" Way ahead of where we were in terms of turnover. And nobody knows us. There are lots of other stories like that. There's probably a dozen, maybe more stories in that book like that are as powerful as that I've learned of all the years of reading it. And I recommend to every one of you, find a problem that you can solve for yourself and that you can share with other people. It's fulfilling, although, as I say, the people that are doing the same talk over and over. But it's very powerful stuff. And on the back of the book, I've got 2 comments from attorneys who attended this. And I remember being very nervous when attorneys first of all started attending this. I thought, oh wow, at least should be 2 of them run collections department. And they basically said, "Wow, this is very cool." Because it is, and it's not because it's me, because I wrote it. This is stuff I got from other people. This is the truth. This is how you run a business and get paid on time, every time, and keep it.
Thank you very much, Roger, and also to our other speaker, Fred, for your book, 101 Tips for Twitter, and then also to our culture coacher, Kevin. I think that was a really interesting session. Our last session before we have a break is going to be about 10 minutes long, and we're going to have questions and answers. More and more speakers are becoming authors, and more of these authors aren't publishing through a house anymore. They are self-publishing. So I think it's very opportunistic that I met Mark over the phone over a month ago, but he actually confirmed the appointment today to come and speak with. I think it's vitally important that we hear what are our options. And Mark is the director at Pantone Printers, and he also runs a division called Ivor Books. So please help me welcome Mark Samoy.
I must say it's somewhat intimidating for a printer to stand in front of all these professional speakers, I'll give it a day. I'm just glad your app about the as a company, Quantum Printers has been around since 1969, and we've been printing books since I've been here, which is 1983. We print soft cover books, hard cover books, diaries, magazines, etc. We have other divisions, we do commercial prints, etc. But about 58% of our business is in those areas. We have printed for many years for big publishers, mainly in the educational field, but we've also printed for a lot of medium-sized and smaller publishers. And in our catalogue, some of the very small publishers we print for. So what's happened over the years is that we printed a lot for people who self-publish. And as you will know, a couple of them have done well over the years, but most of them become that battle. That for two reasons, because in the past you always had to print a lot of books. So if you came along and said, I wanted to print a book, you had to print 2,000 books. And it wasn't really more of a copy, it was, well, that's going to cost you 80,000 rand, something like that. So for a lot of people, that was at first step puts you off. And then the second step, we dealt with people who I thought had really good books, and we really had to get those books out there. And they were really, you see the board, and they printed 2,000 books, and they've got people in the beginning, and we have to warehouse some of the books for them, so we didn't have enough space. And you see the books go out, and they're using the buy exclusive books, and etc. And we kind of decided this year start diminishing, and they almost start giving up. We had people's books sitting in our warehouse for many years, until we eventually had to tell them, I think it's like a zero debt, and eventually had zero stock. So those are the problems we found. We about 4 years ago started our photo book division called Verbal Picks, and it's a photo book company where we started dealing with one-off people. It was all internet-based. People downloaded our software, they made their own photo book, uploaded it to us, and 5 days later we printed it. It was quite foreign for us because we used to print in 20,000 and 30,000 books, and suddenly you've got sort of one precious book, and you've got to get that right, and they're used to doing sort of the big numbers. So what we did is we introduced a company called Igo Books, and I've put some of the catalogs out there. And what the company, we started in 2 areas. We purchased a whole, what happened in the print industry is that digital came along. And when I talk about digital, I'm not talking about digital as in the internet, etc., but where we could print much smaller runs. And we've got machines which are probably look like large photostat machines, but these machines are still big machines. They weigh a couple of tons, but we can produce much smaller quantities now. And we can produce that in color, and we can produce it in black and white. Printing the book is just the one part of it, is how you bind it. So we can bind small, short runs in as little as one book. One book doesn't really make it feasible at this stage. If you're doing a photo book, it makes it feasible because the cost of a photo book can vary anywhere between 295 and going up to 1,000 rand depending on the but when people now want to do short run books, so if you wanted to do, come along and say, well, now we want to produce 100 of these books. And it's opened up a massive market for us because there are a lot of people who want to produce a short run, whether it's they want to test the market in a new book coming out, or they only want to produce 100, or maybe the book's at the end of its life cycle, and people who know in publishing, as soon as your book, after a certain number of years, goes out of print or publication, there's copyright issues or things, so people like to keep those books going at all costs, so you can start producing a smaller number of books at the end of the life cycle. So we started off by just producing shorter run books for people who needed that. What we found then, what was happening is that a lot of people were really battling to distribute the books. They always said, well, I know someone at CNA and I know someone at exclusive books, but you soon find out it's actually not that easy trying to get those books into those areas. So what we then did is we thought, well, our next step is to set up a distribution model which allowed us to be able to distribute for people that can get into those areas. And to be honest, it's not always easy to get into. There's no guarantee that zero debtors can automatically get into exclusive books and the likes of the CNA, etc. In fact, it's becoming more and more difficult. Those groups, people probably know, falling under pressure, buyouts there, and they basically buy your book, put it on their shelves, and there's a sale and return policy, but at the end of the day, they're paying for that book and it's taking up very expensive rent, etc. So they are obviously very strict about how your book, what books they will take on. We've gone into partnership because essentially at the end of the day we are a printer, but we've also got IT capabilities, etc. But we've gone into partnership with a distributor in the Cape who then distributes all our books throughout the country. And they've got their own reach to go into the smaller areas, but then also they go into the CNAs, etc. So that was our sort of second part of it. We also introduced our own website where people can sell their books, and we're about to launch an author's website. So in other words, we believe the authors are the best people to sell their own books at the end of the day. So if we set up the author's website, what happens is that they will use all the technologies that the people here talk about, Facebook, Twitter, etc., to try and push their own book. We develop in the back end. So if you go to our current website at the moment, you can order a book, we deliver it to you. We used to delivering one-off books, and our photo book company, we deliver 200 a day. And that goes to people all around the country. So now we are delivering one-off books via the website. To be honest, it's very difficult to build momentum in a website because you're up against Kalahari, Amazon, etc. We're very aware of that, and we join up with a couple of small publishers, and then you see there's quite a few niche areas like in nature, military, etc. And we're now getting involved with their organisations like conservancies, etc., military organisations. It just happens to be those are some of the smaller publishers we deal with, and we've worked with them over the last year since we launched it, and we're starting now to work with their organisations to try and sell their books directly because they've all got databases, etc. But the bespoke websites where we're designing 2 or 3 different layouts, and they'll be either a page long or 2 pages long, but then the author will be able to use that. It will come into our back end, we'll do the transaction, and we will deliver the book for them. So you can push your own book. So that's coming out in the new year. And then finally, the third phase will be into the latter part of next year, where we plan to put together infrastructure where, like you talk about how you design covers, etc., etc. There's a lot that goes into it. We obviously deal with a lot of publishers who we've got associations with, and we're going to try. We are going to be getting a panel of suppliers who will come under our umbrella, who will help people with their cover designs and help people with their editing and help people, etc., etc., etc. It does. The fact that we can send out to exclusive books and that, it doesn't guarantee that people can do it. A lot of that we want people to do on their own, to their own, and we will be embracing things like Twitter and Facebook, etc., with potential customers, and let them try and do as much as possible, but also put them experts that can do that job. We'll also be looking at electronic versions, obviously e-books, etc., etc. And we've done a little bit of that. We're also going to be looking at, obviously, as a printer, you've always got electronic is coming, and I enjoy, like you say, there's as much paper around now as there ever was. There are no illusions that print is under pressure, but you can evolve and you can adapt. And there's things like augmented reality, where people are now starting to say, we're looking with our photo books that that when you send a photo book to brand overseas, you can actually use augmented reality, and if it's the picture of the birthday party, you can start looking at the video of the birthday party, etc., etc. And obviously we've had some discussions with some of, particularly if you start looking at birds and some of the nature books, where the book is the guide, but you can then go into certain things with augmented reality, QR codes, etc., etc. A lot of those things are happening overseas, and they will be coming here. So we're obviously going to be looking at that. We still believe a printed book is alive and well. I actually read an article yesterday that in the States, in the last year, the printed books still went up by 4%, which is amazing in these times. So people are still reading printed books. So for us, that's fantastic, but we're very aware that you've got to have a bit of everything, so we'll be slowly trying to add that into the equation.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for Mike? I think we've been quite thorough, but are there any questions?
I just wanted to ask Mike, when you said you deliver one book, could you just explain a little bit more? I mean, if I wanted to pick one book, is that what you're saying? I want that book. When you said you deliver one book, or we do one book?
Yeah, in our photo book division, people come and make one book. Okay, so they'll make a photo book of a kid's holiday, so we're used to delivering one-book books. So we've got back-end systems that are all automated, and they send you out a tracking number that can be involved. From our website, all of these books we hold basically on stock for the customers, and we do send off one-off books. So if you order a book, we would send a one-off book. As far as printing one-off books, I was across the States at a company called Writing Stores a couple of months back, and they print for Amazon amongst people, and they print, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of books, how many millions a month, but the average print run is 2.1 books. And they've got, the print area must have been 8,000 square meters at least, and they just had machines lining up printing an average of 2.1 books. It's absolutely amazing, but they had such systems so that they could do short runs. I think the books out of print and print to Amazon, they'll only print one book. It's still not feasible for us at this stage to print one book. We can print one book, but it will cost you still too much. So most of our customers will take to 50 books and then up. We print for customers for 50 books here, where we'll print 10,000 books. So we'll book like the Series 3 book, we'll print 10,000 books of those, because those are field guides that go out there to be sewn, etc., etc. You get flat covers for those, for the frames. But so there's certain books that you can do really short runs, and a lot of people when they write books, they obviously a book like Roger's there, where that's ideal for a short run. So we're not quite printing one, we can print one, but we print from 50 upwards.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, briefly, I just want to get clear in my mind, because you used to print a hell of a lot of my books, going back 10 years, 40,000 or more of my books you've printed over the years. And I'm horrified to find that you would have stored them for me, because my garage, I've still got some actually. If you want to have them back to store them for me, that would be really cool.
Most of them.
One day somebody's going to buy one. But the deal I've got with CreateSpace in America is they work, I'm sure you've heard of them, they work directly with Amazon. Somebody goes to Amazon, they order one book, CreateSpace or DVD, CreateSpace copies that one book or DVD, sends it off. Are you working towards that? Because that's a brilliant service, and I don't touch a damn thing. All they do, Amazon send or CreateSpace, send me a check once a month. That's all that I do.
Yeah, that's where we go. 30% of books ever produced are copied. So, you've got a garage full, and that's it. So the guys are producing one of them. They're not doing it effectively in colour books.
Okay.
In other words, if you've got a feed book or a bird book, it's not effective to print one of those. Certainly a reading book.
Some of my books are colour. One of my books is colour. and they're doing that, printing one of that particular book. I don't sell many, and I suppose probably about 100 since they've had it over the last 2 years. But there's certainly, it's more expensive to sell a colour book, about twice the price, but it's colour, so it's more attractive. So, yeah, a full colour.
That's the direction we're going with. We've got the equipment to do it. It's the system to do it at this stage. And it's the system of dealing with you that you can go in at any time and see how many books you've sold, etc., etc. Those are the systems we're building at the moment.
Okay.
And it takes us a long time. So it's more the systems to handle that. We've got the capability of doing it, and not the system.
I'll be your first customer when you're ready.
As a quick question, you said you're going to get to the place where you have got suppliers that can help us with our editing, that kind of thing. How do you source your editors? Because there's editing and there's rubbish.
To be honest, at this stage, we don't do any of that. We deal It's not a lot yet. So we have to have that because there's still so many people who go into especially books CNA to buy their books. So it's important for us to have that on, but we believe the whole future is online. To sell the books, and we believe the whole future is working with the author, okay, so that they can buy their books through social media, etc.
Lovely. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much. It's really great to see that printers are keeping up with the technology and being innovative with regard to how they are fitting in with our demands as well. So we are going to have a very short break. This is a comfort break. There is water on your table if you do feel like something. But it's 10 minutes, so please look at your time. I'm not going to give you a time, everyone's time is different. Please look at your time, it's 10 minutes from now, a very short comfort break, and then we're going to meet afterwards. Thank you.
Yes, very good. No, you like it. Have you got lots of dishes? That's very good. It's right, that would be such a good way. That break up your knee. I'm going to employ you. I don't know what you're going to put that in your book.
They're putting it Graham is as well.
Yes, I'm doing it
at the moment. But that's what you can use and everything. Good speak out of that level. Yeah. But I'm angry that people
All the other guys, because they do a lot of talking. When I come down to it, they just go, I've done my bit. You get on. I'll tell you a little bit about what you should be doing. You are on the half.
No, it's not good enough. No, and anything.
Exactly. The step gets up. That's what
Sure, excuse me, sure.
I'm sorry.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Oh, yeah.
We changed it once it's not. I printed a whole range of little 8-time books. Was it 20, 18 for the tourism? No, for selling skill, time management, stress management. You might have done something like that. Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah. Hey, right. Yeah, we were happy with it. I first used, was it CTP? Yes. And they were okay. Yeah, for years. Yeah. Really? I still got a copy of that. I just looked up into 4 times and got yeah, no. But then the little book, something sold on. Yeah, that's something. That's good. Yeah, no, that's done on. Yeah, and also, yeah, the like and keep the back of winter. I'm going to that's the way it is. They want to take on they can't take so they take the books. They don't read them. People think that they absorb the information through a portion of but you've sold on it. I'm sure some of them read it. I don't think I'm going to think this one. Don't panic, I'll get this. Cheers. Cheers. We really must have a chat and share our experiences with this.
Very much so. You can see what my camera does. Everything is mirror image.
Yeah, it's not your camera. Everything is always mirror image. But there's software in here that you can swap it, and it's one of these.
I've checked with the cameraman and
no,
control.
It's control. You have to download it. You download it, I imagine.
Yeah.
Where the hell is it?
In control room allows to mute new people that join.
Yeah. There's another. What is it now? I can't remember. But you know, there's a whole load of different softwares you can download that support this. One of them will switch it. It's not your camera.
But you can overlay your iPhone or your
yes, at the bottom. Yes.
I'm running Ubuntu.
I'm
going to put Windows 8 on now to be streamlined with all the other devices.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know Ubuntu? No longer.
I know it, but I don't use it.
Yeah.
No, I've got a Mac, so I just.
Oh yeah. That's why you also run it.
This time, that's anyway.
You use.
I haven't got that book. I can't believe I haven't got one.
That's not good. I've got a number of your books. Just the signature.
No, some nice words about our close relationship and how you admire me and just the signature's fine, Roger.
You said you use Final Cut Pro.
I use Final
That's specifically for me.
It,
So we've
it
got
is.
Finder similar.
Premiere, Adobe Premiere will work on the PC. It's very, very good. Premiere is
Final Cut.
yes.
It allows you different sounds and different pictures.
The whole lot.
There you go,
The
mate.
whole lot.
There you go, right there.
Oh, Roger, what can I say? No, I'm going to have to go before I pass out. Yeah.
It's always good to see you, man.
See you.
Oh, if I don't see you in the next 3 weeks, it's in 3 weeks in London.
In London, we'll be in London together. Yes. We don't have a rest. Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
That's right.
See you later. Yeah, ciao.
Where do you go? You have to run up to do it. I'll do it.
Got to tell Louis my call last week, last night. Because I had finally ordered the swivel. It's also a little great that you put the phone I'll be clearly in London to be delivered to my son. Because he tried to get the cat, it's so little, but right now it's right. So, it's Christmas, I think and Charlotte and Richard coming from London, and Richard was the same. I told him to change his phone, but that's the same.
Jesus, you're in control of this.
Jane. Very somehow.
Sorry. That's next 8:50. 8:50, not 4:05.
Or could we expect it to be
4:05.
Yeah.
Hurry. Everyone is welcome to come. Thank you. What kind of flight? Very informative. I just thought perhaps you can zoom in while most people come in. And at this particular table, the commercial table, has a lot of products. And there's got a lot of products on this table. And all of these products just came from two functions that I went to. And I'm going to mention them. It's Mum's Mail, the high tea for the Sunflower Foundation, and then also for Selena Cuts, Robin Hood Foundation. And between the two of them, these were all the goodies that were in 3 or 4 goodie bags. So it's really fantastic to see the generosity of organizations when you do go to a function, and that everyone is so generous. And it is Alex and also Cindy Norcott that is so generous, and that is why a lot of these companies would sponsor free goodies like this in goodie bags for companies. Roger? No, come through. I'm just speaking about.
I was going to start and talk.
You're on cue. We're waiting for you.
We were waiting for you. And you know Alice, and you know them. And it's because of their nature and that they do give so much in business that they give this kind of support. And yeah. This is from 3 or 4 goodie bags from 2 functions. Yes.
Louis, I wanted to tell you, I finally lashed out yesterday and ordered the robotic thing. That's okay. The robotic hoodie that you put in your lap. Yes.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'll pick it up in London in 3 weeks' time.
Oh, really?
I'm having it delivered from America to London.
Don't you have a local post?
There's a postal strike. Even if there isn't a postal strike, you don't want stuff delivered to South Africa by post.
Yeah. Where you?
And to get here, Louis, it will take about 6 weeks.
Yeah, get it sooner then.
Yeah, I could get it in 48 hours if I wanted to.
So we can reverse engineer it and make our own.
Yeah.
Legos at home.
Yeah, no, it's got to have a little very good, it's got a fire.
Yeah, little servo motor.
Cost a little more than I anticipated, but 4,300 rand.
That's I think
But you can buy that old model for 1,300.
So what upgrades does the new model have?
I'm not absolutely sure. I don't recall. It does have some, but the old one will only hold the Apple 4.
Oh, so it's mainly upgrade for the...
Yeah, but one could make a thing to lock it in. You could make it into a phone too easy.
And it's specifically made for the iPhone.
Oh no, you can on this one you can use tablets and all sorts of stuff. So it must have a movable phone. Yeah.
Sorry, the time goes.
Got it?
Thank you. Okay, and welcome back. Roger gave us an idea, or gave me an idea about 2 months ago, and as I started thinking about it, this is how this evening has developed. Because he said, why don't you bring a promotional product? Because he wants to know a little bit more about it. In other words, what do we use, especially when we're trying to promote our product, but we don't actually know what to choose. And then I was looking for a guest speaker, and the best person is Jürgen Dietz. Absolutely, and some of you have met him at the conferences or the conventions that we go to. And he has been doing presentations for us, teaching us how to use our products so that we can get more mileage out of our message that we are delivering. So I called him up and he said he cannot come down, but he has entrusted me to show you a little bit about what he does. So it's going to be a little bit bitty, but please just be patient with me. Before I start with that, I'd also like to say that at the table at the back, there is a vast array of different products and how you can use them. So if you don't get an idea there, then surely you are not going to get an idea anywhere else, because there are really a lot of products that you can choose from or even make up your own. What I love about Jürgen Dietz is, although he is a businessman and although he is in training, safety, same as you are, he has made it very interesting. And over the years, and I'm going to show you a graph later, over the years, he's used more and more products as part of his business. So it is the products, the promotional products, are part of his business now. So the events products, the do-it-yourself products that you can look on his website for, and then also fees. And I just quickly want to go back to his website and show you where you can find him and what he has available. And he's also said that these are tips for you. He is very welcome. He's very happy to share with you. So if you do have a problem, if you want some ideas, or want him to package something for you, please do get in touch with him. So this is his website, and as you can see, it's quite a cool display that he has. And then when you hold your mouse over all the different parts, then you can of course go to all the different pages. But when you push products, then it takes you to this page, and it's got various products there that you can use. So for example, the cool tool product there. And they will give you various tools that you can use as part of your business. I've got to tell you about this one here. It's wrapped up, and the message is, you've got to have balls to work in the safety industry. And it's just a reminder, and then they give safety tips within that box of how you need to have the courage to be safe. So those are a couple of the things there. And on the top left, this is what that looks like. So it's really lovely. It's got all the little reminders on the front cover, this logo, of course, and details, but it's a little notebook for people to use in the working environment to remember what they need to remember. And then at the bottom, under this is a fabulous idea. So instead of just going to see a client and walking off, he actually compiled these toolboxes. And each one of those toolboxes gets delivered to each one of his trainees that he's going to train us. And remember, he trains people in the mining industry, etc. So we're not talking tens, we're talking hundreds and even 1,500 people in one workshop at one time. He said apparently there were only 1,500 seats, and there were 1,800 people that came in. Now remember, each person pays, and each person gets a token like that. So you can imagine the impact that it has. And of course, when people have this training, especially safety, needs to remember his message. And each single one of those products have got a little message, like a little mousetrap. And then you've got everything that you're going to remember underneath that. And you keep that on your desk. And in the conscious, the constant, subconscious reminder of what they should be doing in the workplace. And then another website, and then another one is obviously those your products, and then you've got your fees that you sell with regard to that. That's the awareness, and then not safety tips as a reminder to people. I just said to get the car on the plane. But it's a good reminder to have something verbal, and there's a little box there. I love this website because it's got real useful tips and innovative ideas on how we can extend the longevity of how somebody delivers you and your message. So I'm just going to play you a very short little piece of how he has used this product in a big training. And now remember, Jim was speaking to people, and he has got a little bit of a naughty sense of humor. So if somebody minds or is not an adult in the room, please, I'll give you the opportunity to leave now. Come back in 5 minutes after this video.
Yes, you see, omnium safety policy. Why am I having the audacity to crumble up your very important safety policy? Because I'm telling you, unless you are able to put those words into people's hearts and make it part of their attitude, that it's just a piece of paper. It's a total waste. Your job is to make sure that people actually buy it and live by it, and that way it's working. Make a link to safety in the law. Just a link. These ladies over here to make a link to the condom. And if you've got a problem, ask me carefully. I can't put a condom. Alright. Money. He is. It is money. So the links that he is making to safety is also about money. Let's give it to us. Yeah! And it's correct because safety costs you money if you get it wrong. What do you see on the back of the notice again? There are rules. Life is full of rules. You can't say to people you don't like the rules. There are rules when you marry to a woman. You might not know about the rules, but they are there. I say, let's face it, and you won't find out quickly what the rules are. So life is full of rules. So we need to follow the rules. I'll give you a minute now. Make it into the rules. It's safety precaution. Mama says it is about precaution. So let's give it to Mama. Yeah, Mama. Of course, you use the condom to prevent things, not after the sex, but before the sex. And we heard about the showering. It's a different story, okay? And the last one is the helpline. So if you don't know how to do the job, say, phone, okay? Alright? Ask for help, don't just do it. Alright? As the boss, our gentleman, as the boss to safety, let's give it to him. Yeah, as the boss to safety, it's not easy to say no. Well done, alright? And then you have got the safety. Safety is about improving the weaker things. Let's hear it about it. Yeah, you've got to do. We have to stick together. Let's give it a mama. Yeah, mama. And one specific one, we have to stick to the rules. Tell me about the rules. Yes, you said it's also for fun. After the hard work of safety, we must enjoy the fruit. Let's give it to Baba. Yeah, Baba. Okay, that's good. Hold it, hold it. Now, when the balloon is like that, I'm going to leave it now. Okay, Pakao Moya Mani. Pakao Moya. Blow it up more. More. Little bit more. One more. Okay, now close it. Right, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? What will we illustrate to you here? The principle is this. If you take a chance the first time or a shortcut, what happens? You get away with it. Next time, you get away with it. Next time, you get away with it. Later on, you get into an attitude which says, there's no problem. Every time you take a chance, every time you break the rules, you're putting more air into the balloon. And the risk becomes bigger and bigger. Until one little thing, and there's the finger. So I want you to go out and find the balloons, the big ones, and Hoka or Moya, take out the risk. Capiche?
So as you can see, Jim has got a lovely sense of humor, and he uses the product to his advantage. And those people in his groups are so engaged. They are present, they are engaged, they're looking, they're touching, they're seeing it, they're experiencing it, and that is the way that they remember. And he says, if you don't remember what I'm saying, you too would use your eye, because as you can see, Jurgen's only got one eye, so he's almost like a big testimony of how important safety is. And Petra has given a very short little reference. She's a PSASA member, and after one of our conferences, she just had a very brief testimony.
Hi, please give me some feedback about the presentation from today.
I thought those toolboxes were absolutely genius. The little ordinary day objects that you pick out and you can connect your own meaning to it, immediately makes it significant and relevant to every individual in the row. And the way you just hand on that, and every single thing that anybody says is welcome and relevant and true and right. Genius.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
When she's speaking about a toolbox, and we got one when we were on convention, is this little thing. So what he does is he buys a whole lot of leaves, empty, and then he puts his own goodies inside there, relevant for that particular training or convention, and then he puts his own label and he seals it. So this is actually closed with all his goodies in. And each little kit is one of those. How ingenious. Just a few more ideas. So how important is this in a business? Speaking business turnover, his products are the green. He said he wouldn't mind giving us the figures, and I said it was not important. But Roger, we all know, and he said he makes over $1 million.
Close to 3 or 4.
Thank you. I don't want to say it because I don't know different, but I know that.
And it, may I just add, he used to make all of them by hand himself. He and his wife would set up later down paintings on mountain track green, because that's a crocodile track, the crocodile being the symbol of the
So you do the calculations on this. So it's just an added bonus. And I want to quote German. I'll read it to you. All I'm happy to share is that if a single engagement does not lead to a 50,000 plus figure, then I feel I have not sold my products well enough up front. When I'm negotiating the deal and getting the brief to put forward my proposal with a quote, it automatically goes out, including the products. which I think is really fantastic. So, yes, I will encourage you to start using products, making yourself more memorable, expanding what you do. You never know how it's going to take off and affect your income as well. So, if you do have any questions, I surely hope that I've done Jürgen some justice in being here and representing him. But he's absolutely, if anybody wants to have a chat with him, you're welcome to his details. I did have his website details there earlier, but if you want them again, please see me afterwards. And now we are going to ask our guest speaker to just please come up. And before I introduce him, we just going to get his mic up on the screen. Has anybody else got any experience of this while we're waiting for a few seconds? Or can
I just wanted to ask some questions, Chantal. When you talk about promotional products, these are not giveaways. He sells these items.
When he does something, say for the 1,500 people, which he charges per person, he says, but I can't do it without a toolkit. And the toolkit is going to cost so much per person because I use that as
That's part of his fee. So he's selling this toolkit to 1,500 people. That's part of the fee.
He sells it to the company. The individual gets it as a giveaway.
Yeah, no, I realize that. Yeah, but what I'm saying is he doesn't use giveaways in his talk. Like he'll take an item and then he gives it away. While he's doing like the condoms, for argument's sake.
Yes, he does.
I mean, he's giving those things away. That's a possibility.
So what you saw, sorry Chantal, can I jump in? That little pill box that Chantal showed, I've got a couple of them, and inside there's things like what you saw in the video, a condom, a little piece of chain, a matchstick, a little tube of glue.
Which are all things to illustrate his talk in some way or another.
Yes.
They're symbols.
The individual makes it into the symbol. So he will come around to a group like this and he'll say to Roger, pick something, and Roger takes a match. And he says, you, Chris, pick something, and you take a stick of glue. And Wendy, you pick something, and she takes a little chain.
Yeah.
And then he gives his talk on safety, and then he says, so Roger, how does your match represent safety? And Chris, how does your, whatever you picked up, represent safety? And then the woman said, the glue, we must all stick together. And the chain,
so they do their own interpretation.
So they create their own interpretation, and that's the value, because they're using his talk, but they're creating their own value. And it's funny because everybody's doing their own thing and they're interacting. And he did that with us, talking about using products.
Yeah.
And he gave a little 15-minute speech on talking about using products, and then we all had to use our little thing and say, how does this relate to using products? So it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And what's in there is just everyday stuff.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
And I've actually...
I wondered how he was making money out of it.
Well,
he sells to his clients.
Because there's so many.
Yeah. So he's going to sell 1,000 toolkits at 35 rand a shot.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, for me, that's the only way you can make 50,000 out of products.
Yes.
Because you've got 15,000 in your audience.
Yes.
I mean, I'm thinking of 30 at a tea with Claire. It's not going to get me 50,000.
Sorry, Claire, we are running out of time and we are going to be late. So I'm going to keep the introduction to Gavin very short and sweet and say that Jürgen introduced me to Gavin because Gavin was going to come into what PSA is all about. And I've had really fun communication with Gavin and just the technology that he's involved with for the last 20 years has been impressive, but what he's doing now is he's challenging that and catering more for us speakers and coaches as an online business. So yes, this is definitely a different perspective. So open up your mind and listen to what Gavin has to say. Thank you.
Well guys, picture the scene. You and your partner have been invited to the opera. You get all dressed up and you move to your car and drive to the theatre and you get out and there's the reception area with the chandelier, with the sound, excitement, enthusiasm. Things are building up. You can sense the anticipation in the audience. You can almost hear the orchestra tuning up in the distance. And then the doors open and you ask to walk in. As you walk in,
you realize that the hall was full of people, and they're applauding you, and you were supposed to walk up to the front. And as you walk up to the front, you can't find your seat, but the hall is full of people. And you get to the front and they say, "Up here, sir." And you get up onto the stage, and they give you a violin, and you've never played a violin in your life. And you expect to turn around and look at this audience and start playing the violin. Can you picture that? Exactly what I'm feeling like right now. You guys are professional speakers. I'm not a professional speaker, although if I do get a bit of supper later, then I can declare that I'm a professional speaker. Just a little bit of history for myself just before we get going. I have been in the information business my whole life. I'm a chemical engineer. I know a couple of engineers here. And after 10 years of chemical engineering stuff, I started an IT company within a big corporate. And the IT company wrote software products. And those software products became very successful. And we sold those software products to major companies like PHP Billiton, the Estons in this world, most of the mining companies around the world. And what was exciting to me about that was it was all ideas. We had ideas. This was mostly based in Berlin, writing software that was used by the biggest corporations in the world. Now, the software was fancy, very fancy, so I know we don't have really nice things. But I reached a point in my career where I thought, every single day, we have tens of thousands of people around the world using software, which becomes a small idea in my mind to work safer in the mines in Africa, in South Africa, and Australia. That was such a boost to personal satisfaction and the feeling of achievement. And then some perfect time, one morning I woke up and I really felt nervous about this. I sat down at my desk and I wrote a letter. I took that letter to the office and I put that picture on the desk. I made it really well. At the time I was the director of product strategy of the business. I had been a managing director and I was on the executive team and I was responsible for company. Why did I decide to split the corporate together? Well, what was it that triggered this view for me to be so important? In essence, what I wanted to do was to create for this business. Take that idea, that information idea, and now with the opportunity that's been presented with new media and new online technology, in a new idea. And I think it's that sense of self-motivation that drives each and every one of us at different stages in our career to strive for something new, to create experiences that make an impact. You have something to say, you want to say it in a way that reaches people and has an impact in their lives. And that's exactly what I would do. I stepped off the cliff, and you asked us earlier to do an elevator pitch. I had to do my elevator pitch while falling, freefall, off the cliff. I can't describe exactly what it is that I do right now, except that I'm in search for the new formula. You have to take this idea and use the online technology that I'm very familiar with and bring it to the international audience. I think as speakers and as authors, you're all the same. You're wondering, in this new world of technology, what idea can you bring to your audience and how can we leverage new technology to do that more quickly? In essence, this is the most remarkable time in history. Now, one day you're going to turn back and say to your kids and your grandchildren, you know, I was there. This is as profound as the information revolution, the industrial revolution. This is the information revolution. You are in the business of information, professional speakers, as authors. And you're in the middle of this greatest revolution, I think, since the history of mankind. And you have the opportunity late in life to turn around and say, I was there. So what are you going to do with this opportunity? I think like most of us, we feel overwhelmed. We are fixated by the noise. I sometimes would think of myself, what would I feel like if I stood in the stadium, picture the World Cup, the Vuvuzelas are going, 80,000 people crammed in that stadium, blowing their vuvuzela. You stand there with your vuvuzela and you try to make an impact. You're just getting drowned out. And that's exactly what's happening in the digital world now. There are somewhere close to 600 million websites out there right now. I think another statistic, close to 40% of America's assets are in the form of intangible assets, that's intellectual property. This is huge. It is totally overwhelming, and as authors, as speakers, we wonder how can we respond to this. I mentioned earlier that I've stepped off the corporate trail. And my vision for myself, and I think it will be for many of you, some of you are in this mode, some of you are entering this mode, is to create for yourself what's called a portfolio lifestyle. The portfolio lifestyle says, I want to work on my terms. I want to be working as a professional, making money, but I also want to balance that with the other things that drive me as a human being. I want to invest time in my family, in the people that are important to me. I want to, at some point in my life, give back to the community around me. You cannot achieve those goals, in the corporate world. So, the growth of what we call the portfolio lifestyle. Retirement as a concept is dead. And most people, apart from the fact that they've not saved enough for retirement, it is actually something that was invented in the 70s. That you work for 20 years or 30 years per year and you retire. And then you enjoy all your savings and you bring that you take that cruise around the Mediterranean and all those good things. The reality is a person like me, and I'm at the point where I'm too young to retire, but too old to stay doing the same old thing. I'm seeking a new life. And I think when I look for opportunities, how can I get my message out? I look at online news and say, how can I make a difference amongst all of these different areas? The structure of my discussion this evening is going to be 5 trends, things that I've picked up, just to give you some context. And then I'm going to give you 10 quick points, almost pointers, as to how you can, in your own mind, take on this new world of information. Now, guys, writing notes. You are the expert. Each and every person here is going to know every single thing that I'm telling you. Perhaps the value that I can add is I can put it all together. I can put a few dots on the page and you can join them out yourself. Each of these points take a whole day and go around. And you've heard it all before. You might say, hey, Gavin, we've been doing this for a long time. And that might well be true. But just bear with me, try and join it, try and see the pattern, try and see the golden thread. The first major trend that I've realized is that the value of information is becoming meaningless. Information is now available for free. Does anybody here know the difference between information and advice? Think to yourself, what is the difference? Information is a commodity. Information can be got freely. There's a friend called Google. Advice is something else. Advice is something personalized. It's targeted at the need of your customer. Information is becoming free, with advice is becoming priceless. Now, just to reinforce it, I gave a guest lecture to the students at Rhodes University. Information systems final year honours. Incredibly, I sat in my home office, my little microphone, my computer, and I delivered a guest lecture to 28 students on the other end of the internet. And this was becoming normal in Rhodes University, that particular course. They could call a guest lecture coming, and an expert who sat at home and could communicate. But one of the difficult questions I asked them was, how could you solve this particular problem? And I was watching the chat window, and the chat window is full up. Google was the answer. This new generation that's sitting at university now doesn't see facts as being telling us that are not that valuable anymore because Google is your friend. You can get any information or any fact you need by going to the web research. So that is the mindset of the next generation that reinforces the information is becoming free. So where is the value? I spend a lot of time thinking about how value is created in information. The next big trend, the
concept, new media, the tools of change. Ever since the beginning of time, humans have walked this planet with the need to communicate, the need to be with each other. That's nothing new. You know, people want to express fear, they want to express emotion, they want to express love, they want to express something to each other. What's happened in the last millennia is the tools have changed. But as the tools change, we must always remember the fundamental elements of communication don't change. We need to connect with people. And you know, using tools like Jürgen's, Jürgen's a wonderful guy, by the way. I had an interesting meal with him, and he looks at you with his one eye. It's almost like creates a personal connection. His disability. And he said, this is how it helps me connect with people. With people, you know, so somehow they see me in a different light because my one eye is looking at him. He's a wonderful guy. Let me move on to the next one. The agile career. I've noticed in the world, of careers that people, especially the younger generation, are getting far more mobile. They have far less of an expectation of a job for life than was ever the case before. In the IT world, we have a term called agile. And agile means you move software development rapidly through different cycles so that you meet the needs of customers much more quickly. In the world of professional jobs now, people have to change the career direction regularly in order to meet the needs of the changing marketplace. So people no longer work for a job for life, but most people expect to work 12 to 14 jobs over their career. Those are the great opportunities in the world. The next trend that I wanted to highlight is that everyone becomes an entrepreneur. You know, in the past, you could work for a company, and the company gave you a structure, an environment in which to work. But now what I'm noticing is that it's far more about the individuals than it's not the company. It's you, person. It's not the business. You have to be able to craft your own value proposition as an individual and not rely on what the business wants around you. So everybody is now becoming an entrepreneur, whether you're working for a company or not. Within a company, you're expected to come up with new ideas, new concepts, to manage the business in the world of trade. But if you're an entrepreneur outside of the business, you also have to do the same. So people are becoming their personality, their person is becoming the focus. And as people, they then have networks with other people, and that connection between people and people in the networks is now becoming more important for most people. So as a speaker, as an author, I think you already know the power of personal branding and the importance of being able to articulate your own personal value proposition. But if you're looking at a person inside a corporate environment, they're not doing this. It's starting to emerge on them that they need to start doing this, creating their personal brands and becoming known as an individual, not as a cog in a big machine. The final trend that I want to highlight is something that you've heard Dr. Codrington speak. You'll know about generation. My daughter at university is one of these. My son, who's still at high school, is one of those two. They grew up in a world where technology is normal. They have never been in a situation where they have to read books to find facts. They have to search them. They don't even remember vinyl albums. My daughter is intrigued with my collection of records up in the garage. And one of these big CDs. They've not been through the transition from radio to vinyl to CDs, MP3 players. They've grown up in a world where the stuff already exists. It's part of the fabric, it's part of the being. What this means, though, is in our world, that this generation of people are now moving into business with a brand new expectation of how the world should work, how they should be educated, how they should be taught, how they should be managed in the workplace. So back to the overlap. Let me offer 10 pointers to end with that you can perhaps
consider your journey towards being effective in the new digital age. Number one, recalibrate your goals. Goal setting is vital. Anybody who's a coach and anybody who teaches people, part of people development, will understand that getting people to understand their personal goals and aspirations is vital. What I'm saying here is you need to recalibrate your goals. Understand your new goals in the context of some of the training that I've spoken to you about. The new age of technology, the opportunity that's being provided to you to reach young people using new tools. Goal setting is vital in order to understand what it is that you want out of life. And you have to do that regularly. You need to do goal setting at least once a year. Myself, I do twice a year for 6 months. And it was through one of these goal setting exercises that I realized this is what I need to do. I need to walk away from a high-paying corporate executive job to approach the next opportunity. And I had to recalibrate my goals. And it wasn't just the satisfaction of the working environment. It was the appreciation of the great opportunity that this new digital media was offering me to get my message out. The next one you'll recognize. Everybody talks about it. But think about it in the context of the new digital world. Because you can reach a much wider audience, you have to be much more focused and clearly define what the niche is. In the past, the niche might be easy to define because people around you live in a certain city, people could travel between cities, people can carve a niche based on geography around. In the new digital world, more information, more ideas are now going to be out there competing with millions of other people. So you have to be extremely focused. So when it comes down to developing the value proposition, you need to know what it is that you are. And this might sound easy. That's pretty much it. I mean, look, I'm a safety advisor, a legal advisor. But for me, what you do is very, very good. I've got a flagship paper company, 25 years business experience. I've identified that specifically in really good. It's not everything. I'm not an engineer, but people work. And I'm IT manager, CIO, and I'm business development manager. Where is the area that makes the most, resonate the most with my potential audience? Remember, my potential audience is the right person. But it's like the old days when you had a major, you used to tune tops and couplers. And when you tune, there was like a whistle, all of a sudden the station would blare through. I have to blog you for 2 years. And 80% of my blog posts disappear. Like fully freeze. Nobody listens, nobody hears it. And every now and again, I write a blog post that goes mad. The other day I wrote one about software development and just went mad on me. So it's like I was tuning at radio, all of a sudden I hit that peak. That was the niche, really the need. And the next week I tried to write a follow-up article and it was back to cricket. What I'm saying is that your niche is very important to find. It can be very, very sharp and very, very narrow in digital thought to get noticed. The next one is a deeper one. And I could really spend a lot more time on it, but I'm not going to. They need to really understand that. The value is not the price people pay for something. Value is almost principle of reciprocity. If you give somebody something for free, again and again and again, eventually that person will turn around and say, I really appreciate what you've done for me. I'm going to try and reward you. I want to buy your product. I want to pay. In the online world, it's very much like online marketing is very much about giving value to your audience as often and repeatedly as possible, so that you build their trust in you as an advisor to them, and to the point where they want to reciprocate by paying you. It's a different notion of value to what we might have had if we selling physical products. Selling information products is premised on trust, and the feeling of the need to reciprocate, which includes so much value. So having done those things, you need to craft your value proposition. Now, value proposition is who you are, what do you do, for who do you do this, what problem is that you're solving, what's the intended outcome is. That's what we would call an elevator pitch, and with your delivery. But if you're going to go online and make a bigger impact in the digital world on an international level, you've got to really have a craft of value proposition very, very clearly that is aligned with the goals and aligned with the niche. Managing a digital brand. So many people leave the digital persona to chance. I'm an ex-manager, so I used to employ people. And the first thing I would do is look and do a Google search and look for that person. If I'm going to recruit a software developer into my business, I need to know everything about that person. Because if you bring a bad apple into a team, you can destroy the entire team. So my source as an employer is to go online and have a look. Now, I think for you, most of you as speakers or authors or have an insights, you understand the value of a digital online presence. If you haven't done it, have a look at your digital brand. Be intentional about it. Decide what you want people to see when they don't have a digital site. And work intentionally on that. 6 months ago, Chantal, if you had looked at my photograph, I would have been in a checkered shirt in my garden because I was on sabbatical and I was on holiday. Then I decided I'm going to be serious about this because my LinkedIn photograph is going to be seen by professionals who will one day become our future customers. So then I decided to reject it. That very small change shifts the perception of people that are looking at my LinkedIn profile sufficiently for them to suddenly perceive me as somebody with much higher value. I'm not a guy loafing in my garden anymore. I'm now a professional who's willing to come and do professional work. And I think we need to be intentional. I've seen the evidence here amongst the people in this room that there's a very strong attention to personal branding. And that's good. But it's not always the case. And especially that new generation of millennials, they don't understand. They don't understand that your functional photographs together become evidence in the future when people have a look through the new further. So manage your vision. Point number 6. The value of telling me that we're going to give you 10 points that you know that you're more confident. Create your digital platform. Create your digital platform. If you want to find out more about digital platforms, I highly recommend a book by a guy called Michael Hyatt. He's an American author. The book is called Platform, Hence Notice in a Noisy World. And it talks all about how you can create a digital platform from which you can grow your online business. And it's all around the importance of having a website with valuable content on it and the way you promote your website and to reach your initial.
What's the name again, please? Platform?
Platform gets noticed in a noisy world.
Thank you.
I think it's
Thank you.
Michael Hart. A fantastic book because he talks about blogging. He talks about the need to get yourself a website and how easy it is to do. This is not something to do with companies that do. Each and every person in this room, myself included, can build a website around it. Really valuable free tools to get themselves a good online platform. If you're an author, the platform is the base on which you launch your book. If you're a speaker, the platform is the base on which you launch your product. Things when you're talking about it, you're speaking. Whilst you're doing it, I'm not going to spend that much time on, but in my practical experience over the last couple of months, I bought myself a microphone, good quality microphone. I bought myself a mixer. My intention is to start podcasting, or if not podcasting, start teaching people using audio, because many professionals, which is my target audience, spend the time traveling to work, and they come to my position from where I live in Cleveland, spending at least 45 minutes every day in the car. Podcast or audio training course is perfect for that type of profession. So I want to master that. In order to master that, I need to know the tools of podcasting. You need to get the right equipment. Not only do you have to get the right equipment, but you have to know how to speak the microphone. You have to learn those skills. And this is all something that you need to be intentionally going to move in this direction. Now, not everyone here is going to want to podcast, although I suspect that as professional speakers, the audio is going to be one of the mediums of communication. But you could also consider developing your own community as well. Understand your tools. Study business information. Most of you have businesses, and you know the importance of collecting money and getting the business down. You understand how pricing and all these things. The world of information business is no different from any other business. You need to have products, you need to have customers, you need to sell it, you need to collect your money. In the online world, things might be slightly different. You have online shopping boxes. You might have online subscriptions to your membership site. You might have online marketing and online sales, which means that people can buy your products while they view the feed. You need to understand all of that if you're going to be doing business online. Now, why is that important to you? Because as you take the speaking career to a new place in this new digital world, you might be wanting to offer your speaking and your coaching message as an online course, for example. And you want people to find your course, you want to be marketing to them, you want to have people get able to buy your course online while you see, you want all the products transactions to happen automatically. You want to wake up in the morning and see your email that says your PayPal account has been paid with $10,000 over the month. What a wonderful world that is. Second last point, find your voice. Now, many of you as speakers already have your message, have your voice. If you've been practicing speaking for a long time, you know how you come across. Your voice is your personality, the way you express your message. When you're in your comfort zone, it flows naturally. You're not trying to pretend to be somebody else. So authors often find problems finding their voice. They try and write in a style which isn't theirs. They try and pretend to be somebody else. It takes a long time to write, to communicate, to speak in a way that is truly authentic. That's all it takes. And you need to practice it. Now, I'm speaking to the converts. If I'm speaking to people who are considering a speaking career or career as an author, I will suggest to them they start blogging. Because blogging helps them understand their message, understand how to communicate. It might take many months or even years before they truly get your voice and get your message fine-tuned so that they come across authentically. And the final point that I wanted to just be pointing to is consider creating products. Now, this is not exactly the sort of products that we saw earlier with German. I think those are very, very creative. What I'm talking about when I say create products is to find a way to leverage your time so that for every hour you invest, you can earn 5, 10, 20 hours with it. And those additional earned hours must be in the form of products. Now, those products could be, I think Richard earlier mentioned the DVDs, that you could record once and sell multiple times. An online training course, prepared once, sold multiple times. As a consultant, if you're doing consulting work, prepare templates for everything you do so that somebody else can use the templates and do it multiple times. You can earn a percentage of that. The whole creative product mindset must be part of your personality if you're going to succeed in this online world. Because if you have to constantly show up to make money, that's not a scalable business model. You're on a treadmill of your own creation. You're going to be working for yourself, you're not going to be working on your company. At this point, select 5 people that you really look up to and spend a lot of time with them. Because somebody said you're going to become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if you want to get yourself stretched, get yourself into masterminds, or whatever it takes, network with people who are more experienced than you, because they are going to challenge you and they're going to put you forward. So in conclusion, that way that you still in conclusion. You can look at this world of online information as a threat, or up here, you can see it's an amazing opportunity. Peaceful, tranquil, portfolio lifestyle that allows you to do the things that are most important to you, to spend time with the most important things in life. It's all about how you approach this information age. Those things that
Lovely, thank you very much, Gavin. There's definitely potential there for future speaking career. So I'm really looking forward to hearing you in the future. Huffing and puffing and sweating and we really would love to hear from you again once you've put down the line with us and we can pick up from where we left off today and how we can continue our program online. So I'm sure if anybody's got a question for Gavin, we can ask him over dinner. So thank you very much for joining us here and all the best with your new venture. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And the next meeting is on the 16th of October. And we are picking up the mastermind thing, so I'm so glad that you picked that up. And we are picking that up for our next meeting. Anybody want to do the picture kucha? I know not all our members are here today. Any takers? Okay, we'll be in contact with you next week. So thank you for a very interesting, very informative meeting, and enjoy your dinner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please move down immediately because they're serving now. Thank you very much. They're serving your meal now.
More engineers in this.
Yes, amazing. Sharpness of brain.
I'm bringing engineers here.
I find the engineers has taken over the top. This is to